We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is a lovely Wednesday coming to you live from the palatial Central Florida studios. Ole Miss, a 7-4 victor over Auburn last night in the SEC tournament in Hoover. They play Vanderbilt tonight at 8 Central-ish, 9 Eastern-ish. There's a chance this thing, if it goes to extra innings today, could be it could be a 2 a.m. finish. So everybody should be prepared for that. So anything goes wrong, it could just push out even further. So just, like I said, be prepared for that. Before we get started today, I want to tell you about the Vault Society. That's the big push of the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. That's for Vault Society support. That is a 5-year commitment of support. Membership starts at $5,000 a year, and there's a benefit chart on the side. All gifts to Ole Miss between now and June 30th will receive triple points. Red points are non-deductible and go towards priority seatings. Blue points are 90% tax-deductible and go towards parking and non-home ticketed games. That's postseason, bowl games, neutral site. We got a pretty big one on Labor Day that would fit that criteria. Heck, the SEC tournament right now fits that criteria. But if you have any questions, go to the website at give2athletics.com. That is give2athletics.com. If you are interested in the show, you can catch us at The Stephen Willis or at The Rebel Walk on Twitter. You can catch us on Facebook at positivelyolemiss, at facebook.com/POMcast, and The Rebel Walk on Facebook. We're on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. You can catch us there. Hit subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Not only we know that we're streaming, you'll know what we're streaming about. And also we're on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word. We're also on Willis Digital Media for both those, YouTube and Twitch. On Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and Pandora are the audio options for you. Thank you for listening. We're currently at about 30% over the former record for a month. We still have 5 days left. There's a chance, I believe, that we can double it with as many videos as we are doing. So thank you very much for watching. I'm just humbled by that. And I'm going to try to continue to give you great stuff, video and audio down the line. So we have ideas. Finally, the technology has caught up what I've wanted to do for 10 years. The technology finally got there, and we just laid down a path to do that, and we're growing and growing and growing. In February, a video would be done, for a day, and we're looking at a maximum of 30 views for that day. Now we have single videos getting upwards of 2,000. Thank you very much. I'm absolutely humbled. We've only been doing this for like 3.5 months in the video side. And you guys are making it happen, and it's catching on. And of course, it doesn't hurt that we have absolute stars contributing to our site. Now we're doing our previews. Vinny Hardy's Kentucky football preview is up. At 1 o'clock today, the SEC tournament today will drop. The SEC tournament reaction with Chris Muller has dropped. That aired just before this show, so you can catch it. And we're interviewing today Jake Crane from the J-Boy Show and Chris Clark. So today we have a busy day. Today's a busy day. And tomorrow we're doing at 11:30 we've got David Waters coming on the show. So that's our interview quotient for the week, and we're going to take Friday to try and find more interviews for you. We actually, if you're watching this, we're having trouble getting Missouri. I don't know why we're having trouble getting Missouri, but yeah, there's a want to big time the situation, no matter how lowbrow a podcast might be, and that feels odd, and nothing biased is going to happen. There's no fandom going on here. We're just asking questions, getting a preview about Missouri football. You can either choose to take part in it or not. So we start the show a little bit late. I understand that. We're going through all this spiel. Today, Ole Miss plays for a national championship. The women's golf team, one of the 13, are competing for a national championship at 4 o'clock on the Golf Channel. If you are interested in catching that before Ole Miss takes on Vanderbilt tonight at 8-ish, 9-ish. Yeah. It could be 10-ish. It depends. If something bad happens, extra innings happens in these early games, and it pushes those, there's a chance that game could just be out of whack. And thoughts and prayers for those that have to stay up till the end. We'll have an SEC tournament today, tomorrow, and we'll have an SEC tournament reaction tomorrow. So feel free to not wait up. We'll tell you everything that happened in there. But we play for a national championship today. And this is the first time since 1995, so that's 26 years, that a team sport, in between a team sport playing for a national championship. And I think that was men's tennis back in 1995. So it's a big deal. It's not something that happens very often for the university, and nothing but good luck to the girls. We're all rooting for, and I just saw a little bit of excitement come over Twitter yesterday whenever they were going through their playoff holes with Texas. And I'm not a huge golf fan. I'm a fan of Ole Miss doing really well. And I want that to happen, and I'm all for rooting it. So I'm not going to try and be an expert on golf or anything like that. But what I am going to be an expert on is the Ole Miss fan base and how starved they are for something like this to happen, for anything like this to happen. The pride that they can point back to. Ole Miss hasn't, and I don't think Ole Miss has won a national championship in a team sport. A team has won a national championship since 1962. That's a long way to go. But this is part of this renewal of the athletic department with Keith Carter and Lane Kiffin, because Lane Kiffin is actually tweeting out the women's golf team that this is going on to all of his basic million followers, and that starts just a chain reaction within the fan base. It's important to get Lane involved just because of that social media following and the ability to organize a fan base. So Oklahoma State yesterday apparently went 5-0 in their match play in their semifinal against Duke. Ole Miss beat Arizona 3-2. It will be interesting to see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it, and have confidence, have fun with it. Even if you aren't a diehard women's golf fan, have fun with it. There, people that made fun of Mississippi State for celebrating their women's basketball team is just pure haterade, basically. The same people don't like LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Tom Brady. It's all just hating success. They're having fun. They're enjoying themselves. They've earned the right. They get to play for that, and they get those championships do count. They might not count to random Joe football fan that they definitely won't count to Alabama and their, I don't know if they're 30 national championships or 40 at this time, however many they're claiming. But it's important to have fun, to enjoy this stuff. Confidence is contagious. People always used to say in baseball, hitting is contagious. Hitting is contagious. And that's absolutely true because hitting so much relies on confidence. And whenever you get more confident, you're going to go up to the plate and you're going to perform better. Winning is the same thing. If one team really takes it up and we really enjoy that, that's going to help the baseball team in Hoover and beyond. It just is. That's going to go into the football season whenever we do media days in a little over a month. That's good grief. A little over a month until media days. It's crazy. Oh, by the way, before we get going, these are coming out now. And once these come out, that's kind of, to me, that's always been the start of football season. We're going to start going through those and the rankings that they do after the baseball regional is over, whenever we hit a little bit of that dead time between then and media days. But it's okay to celebrate a women's golf national championship. It's okay to get excited that it's going to happen. Don't let anybody tell you any different. They only do that just because they want to bring you down to their level. They're not there. They're not playing for that today. So they're not happy. So let's tear these people down by saying it doesn't mean anything or anything. It obviously means something if you care about it. If you're talking about it, it means something. It might not mean anything to them. I don't know why a golf tournament would mean something to an Auburn fan, but to an Ole Miss fan, it does mean something. And just enjoy this that's going on. Watch the tournament final today at 4 o'clock on the Golf Channel. If they win, they win. If they don't, they don't. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about this, but I think if they win, it'll be the first team national championship since 1962. I do believe. And that is nothing to sneeze at. That's a big deal. Now, enjoy it. Have fun. Watch the game. Do not watch the game in dread. That's absolutely silly. Watch the game and have fun. Whatever you have to do to have fun, watch the game. Because that's what it's there for. It's not there for angst and anxiety and fear and all that stuff. No. It's just a one-off game. Somebody could have a bad day and completely throw a wrench in everybody. It's nobody's fault. It just happened. So, just wanted to say, today Ole Miss plays for a national championship, and it is never a wrong thing to celebrate that. So, congratulations to the girls for making it this far, and hopefully good luck today in your match play event with Oklahoma State. We'll all be cheering you on and hope you do quite well. Before we take a break, a little bit, I've got 2 previews today and reactions that deal with the SEC tournament. You can catch both of them at Positively Ole Miss. You can catch them both at YouTube. The SEC tournament today is not on the Rebel Walk properties, but there's other places you can go to get them. Now, Derek Diamond is likely going to be the pitcher today to go against, I forget his name. His name's like Chris Little. He's a freshman. Vandy's not pitching one of their elite arms. Now, he might turn into an elite arm. He's a big, hard-throwing righty. I mean, stop me if you've heard this before. But it's worth keeping in mind. This team does not back down from velocity. This team likes velocity. So if you come in with a hard-throwing righty or lefty, that's up this team's alley. They hunt fastballs and they go get them. Now, a soft-tossing lefty, that's a little bit of another story. But you have somebody, a hard-throwing righty or lefty, this team, it kind of fits into what this team wants to do. If Ole Miss can get a win today against Vanderbilt, sorry about that, then all of a sudden you have a winner's bracket game against Arkansas. There's some big games. Now, Ole Miss, I can understand what they're doing, absolutely, and throwing Doug early and all that for the opportunity for these games, because you can't play these high leverage games That'll help with the national seed thing because Ole Miss is trying to bump up a couple of places to get into the national seed discussion. They are trying to do that. I mean, it might not happen, but they're trying. You can't do that with a loss against Auburn on Tuesday. So that's the reason Doug was thrown. That's a normal bullpen day. Shut him down for the tournament, give him long rest until next weekend, throw a bullpen this weekend, throw a bullpen on Tuesday, get him out there once the regional starts. And in my opinion, game one. Simply because he creates a lot of mojo for the team behind him. And they don't necessarily have that when he's not there. So it goes into game two. Derek Diamond or Drew McDaniel should be better than the pitcher lining up on Saturday anyway. And that should be a win that Ole Miss can get. And I've seen them slug Sunday wins all year. So Ole Miss has a shot to go. There's a path for the regional and what they need to do, and you can see it both ways. I understand why people want to hold him out. I understand why they want to throw him early. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, Chris Muller is going to give his reaction to the Auburn game. We're going to play that. And from there, we are going to get out of the podcast. I hope everybody enjoyed the show today. And, of course, good luck to the ladies in Scottsdale, Arizona, going against the Oklahoma State Cowboys for a chance at the first national championship in a very, very long time. Thank you very much for that. But until then, we are going to do a commercial break, and I will not come back on live. So thank you, and we will see you tomorrow.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's trusted choice independent insurance agents.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. These men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing veteran homelessness by making housing available, but there is more that we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.va.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran and you are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-4AID-VET. Thank you.
It's a pretty good thing going on in Hoover right now that would fit that bill. Anyway, how you doing, Chris?
Doing great, Stephen. Obviously late night last night, but absolutely worth staying up a little bit later watching the Rebs get the W.
Yeah, absolutely. Every day, every Doug day is a good day. And Doug came out. He got, started off. Auburn had a leadoff home run, and then he settled in and just retired batter after batter after batter. It was pretty good to see.
Gosh, did he? That was really amazing. Obviously, you talked a little bit about the home run from the leadoff hitter for Auburn. Then he retired 14 straight, so he really just locked in. After the game, Coach Bianco talked about Doug being vintage Doug, and he added that he's one of the best, not only in our conference, but in the country. Obviously, he was on a little bit of short rest, but Doug said, I wanted the ball, and I was really happy that Coach B gave me the opportunity for that last night. Doug went 6 innings, struck out 7, just allowed 4 hits, 2 runs. He walked 1. He only got one interesting stat for me was he only got to 3 balls on 3 different Auburn batters. And the first guy to get 3 balls against him, or Doug get three balls against that guy, was not until the 5th inning. So it was really, really neat for me. Doug was named first team All SEC.
Okay.
Young man, and we really need to relish these opportunities to watch Doug pitch because it won't be very long before he's signing a big league contract.
Yeah, it's there's a regional coming up that he's going to throw in. There's maybe a super regional. I mean, it could all be over next weekend. If so enjoy it while you have it.
Yeah, I'm real excited. I'm heading to Oxford next weekend. There were a couple people that said that we weren't a lock for regional hosts.
Yeah, I saw that.
Some big name people said that we weren't a lock yet for regional hosts. I don't know what polls they were watching. I believe it was Kyle Peterson, and I think Kyle owns D1 Baseball. So it's really interesting for me to think that he was going against his own prognostications, basically, the guys that he hired to do prognostications. We're absolutely locked now. I don't think that's really a doubt in anyone's mind nationally. Kendall Rogers, Aaron Fitt all had us squarely as the number, I believe it was 13 seed in their prognostications. So we're on the right side of the bubble. We don't have anything to worry about the rest of the weekend. Even if, we don't win tonight or tomorrow afternoon, we're all good. So I'm really excited about heading to Oxford next weekend, watching Doug pitch. I'm hoping on Saturday night there's a little bit of a talk throughout the fan base whether he's going to go in the 1-4 game or the 2-3 game. And we can get to that later on in our discussions as we go throughout the weekend. Taylor Broadway, from a back-end perspective of the bullpen, really did great work again last night. Threw a 7-inning save, called one in the 7th to kind of clean up a little bit of a mess. Auburn got really close in the 7th. Obviously didn't tie it up or anything else like that. But Mike really called on Broadway to get that 7-inning save, and he really did great things last night. Only faced one over the minimum that he was required to face for that seven-inning save. It was his 13th save overall for the year. Tied Stephen Head for the most saves in a season. So really cool. Expect Taylor to absolutely break that record. And, records are made to be broken. And I think Stephen's pretty happy with the performance of Taylor Broadway this year.
Yeah, it's been really something to see. Another thing is the long ball really appeared with the team again. Hayden Dunhurst with his 2-run bomb, and then that weird Justin Bench inside the park home run, maybe outside the park home run. But either way, it's a home run, so why review it? But it was kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, I consider that inside the park home run to be one of the most exciting plays in baseball. If you've never seen one live, they're really, really cool to watch them develop because they've all got a little bit of an intricacy to them. They're not that standard triple that's hit down the line or hit to the gap in left or right center. There's really got to be something peculiar that happens, either two fielders converging, they both dive, neither one gets it, and the ball rolls to the wall, or much like last night where with Justin Bench's home run where it hits the top of the wall. The Auburn fielder was kind of disgusted at himself that he didn't catch the ball. He absolutely had a chance at it. And then the ball caroms off toward the pass into foul territory, and they don't get it in time. And Justin kind of just cruised home, and it was a kind of a no-doubter inside the park home run, which I've never seen one quite that, quote, easy for it to happen. And you talked a little bit about Hayden's home run. Hayden's home run was really big for us because it happened in the 7th after Auburn had put up the 2 runs that I had talked about earlier. And it gave us a nice cushion. So it was really that, okay, now we can breathe a sigh of relief type situation. And just really good to see Hayden hit the ball. Another person that really hit the ball well yesterday was Peyton Chattanya. Obviously, we had Peyton's home run against Georgia, which a lot of people feel like was hopefully a turning point for him moving into the postseason. But he had a big 2-run single in that 3rd inning where we put a lot of runs on the Auburn. And I think Peyton may have been the one that actually chased the Auburn starter, Jack Owen, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he starting to hit the ball really hard, and eventually those are going to find gaps and spaces, and you can turn it around. But bad contact is a real slump. He's starting to hit the ball solidly, and it's just waiting for him to emerge, in my opinion.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the phenomenal freshmen, T.J. McCants, Jacob Gonzalez. They used, as usual now, they've taken a place as a team leader, especially at the plate. What do you have to say about those guys?
We talk about them all the time on this show, which I'm really happy with, that we're able to talk about two really, really quality freshmen. All freshman SEC team honorees from earlier in the week. So really happy for those guys that they received that honor. McCants lit off the game, and if you got to the game early enough to see or watch it on TV and saw McCants' first hit, it really was a game. I'm not going to say game changing, but an inning changing hit for McCants. So McCants hits the ball into, I believe it was right field, and he turns that single into a double. And it was a really close play at second, but McCants absolutely beat the ball out. And so now instead of having a runner on first, we've got a runner on second. Auburn's got to play their defense a little bit different. And then we get the error, and then McCants scores on it. And so it just really set up that inning really, really well for us. McCants also drew a bases loaded walk later in the game to score Tim Elko, which was kind of cool to see Tim score while he was on the bases. Not something that we're used to seeing. I think since Tim's come back off his ACL tear, he's the only runs he's scored have been off of home runs. So it was kind of cool to see him actually get a chance to stay on the bases and score. And then Jacob Gonzalez went 4 for 5. So 3 singles, a double, a late double. So Jacob just continues to see the ball really well. If I remember correctly, Jacob's mantra is, I just don't want to strike out. And so he really wants to put the ball in play, which is really, really a good thing. Good things happen when you put the ball in play. And that's absolutely the case with Jacob.
Yeah, he does really well with barreling up the ball and hitting line drives. It's kind of a little bit of old school baseball out there with Jacob Gonzalez.
Yeah, and Coach Bianco's talked about that before, that he's got an old school mentality that I just don't want to strike out. And that's my mantra at the plate, and it serves him really well, obviously. Continues to hit the ball really, really solid.
All right, so we move on to tonight, and a little bit, as you like to say, Hoover after dark, another late game. We're a couple of extra inning games away from that finishing at 2:00 in the morning. What do you think tonight going up against the Vanderbilt Commodores?
Tonight against the Commodores, we're TBA right now. Coach Bianco was not at a place to name a starter for tonight's game. I do expect to see Derek Diamond, though. I would be surprised if we didn't see Diamond. That's not to say that it's not going to happen. It's just something that would surprise me. Vanderbilt, as we all know, we took 2 of 3 from Vanderbilt earlier this month, so they're probably a little bothered at that, a little mad. Wouldn't be surprised to see, that game on Sunday didn't really end with us and Vanderbilt really liking each other a whole lot. There was there's the grand slam that the Vanderbilt guy kind of stood and watched just a little bit, and then Hayden Dunhurst decided that he was going to admire his home run at a really, really nice pace when he hit his home run. So, I don't really expect that to carry over. Tim Corbin and Mike Bianco are obviously really, really great coaches and know how to keep their players in line. So I'd be really surprised if anything carried over from that series. That's not to say that Vanderbilt players aren't going to remember the fact that we took 2 of 3 from them in Oxford. Vanderbilt's going to throw a freshman. I believe his name is Christian Little. Interesting about Christian, he comes into the game with a 3-1 record, 8 starts. However, none of those 8 starts have been against SEC competition. So that's a little weird to me that they're just going to trot out a guy that's never really seen SEC action. In fact, his only SEC appearance was against Tennessee, and I believe he issued from what I've been able to figure out, he issued an 8-pitch walk, and that was the only batter he saw in that game. So kind of funny to see Vanderbilt trot out a guy right now. His ERA is right around 5.5, I believe, and his batting average against is 0.248. So his batting average and his ERA don't really match each other. He's got 37 strikeouts and 15 walks. So that's really about it about Little. So I expect the Rebels to be really disciplined at the plate to try to see if they can work the counts, to try to see if they can get a couple walks off them and just barrel the ball up as best they can. From a lineup perspective, Vanderbilt, we all know Vanderbilt can hit the ball really well. They had a big inning against us after we put up the big inning against them. They've got Carter Young leads their team with 15 home runs, followed by Dominic Keegan and Isaiah Thomas with 11 each. And Keegan leads their team with right around the 380 batting average. A player that I really like to look for is their freshman Enrique Bradfield Jr. Bradfield was named the SEC Freshman of the Year, and from a speed perspective, he's absolutely a speed demon on the base pass. 42 stolen bases on 47 attempts. So he's really going to make, if he gets on base, he's really going to make our pitchers work and really try to distract them from going after Vanderbilt hitters.
Yeah, and it looks like Vanderbilt, their strategy is get to a normal weekend-like setup before their actual starters start throwing. They just didn't want to bring Kumar or Jack Leiter out on short rest, especially with Jack Leiter going through the injury concerns that he was going through a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and that's a good strategy. I think if we would have gotten to play in gotten one of the first 4 seeds, that Mike would have done very much the same thing with Doug. However, when you're playing in a single elimination tournament like we were yesterday, it's really important to get to the double elimination section before you can really do something like that.
Yeah, and in my opinion, everybody is talking about what Mike should do with Doug in a regional, and that's kind of the storyline right now. But I like to remind people that UT Martin happened. You can't afford that to happen on day one. Yeah, that puts you so behind the 8 ball from the very beginning. It basically kills your regional right out the gate.
Yeah, obviously a concern on that. But obviously we're not going to throw somebody that we wouldn't normally throw in the beginning game with a regional. So there is that part of the equation that you look at it. I mean, that discussion's pretty far down the road. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you and I'll have that probably later next week to see. You know, I don't know if Mike's going to announce a starter on Monday on the Super Talk Mississippi show, but I'll be listening to that to see if he does. Obviously, they'll probably have some press availability after the regional announcement occurs, so we'll see if he's willing to announce a starter early or if he's going to hold his cards a little closer to the vest.
All right.
Mike's one of those guys that tends to hold his cards a little closer to the vest.
Yeah. But anyway, we have a little Hoover After Dark tonight, a chance to have a little 2 a.m. baseball perhaps in Hoover, Alabama. For Chris Muller, I'm Stephen Willis. And, of course, Hotty Toddy.
Hotty Toddy.